There has never been a Supermines 2 TC. It's just too expensive to save up for with just one other tower. But the new map, 3 Mines Round, added a way to get extra money, even in chimps. So we're going for it. I started off with a wizard on the left side of the map. The Bloons have to pass by him 4 times before exiting, giving him plenty of time to pop everything, even without upgrades. This let us fund our first gem excavation. For $435, we can hire a miner monkey to dig up this small pile of gems, and in 10 rounds, we'll get $870 back. Not much, but this is double our investment. While this guy was mining away, I upgraded the wizard to have fireballs and eventually a wall of fire. This makes him much better at popping dense clumps of Bloons, as any that pass through the fire take damage, and the Bloons will have to pass over this spot 4 times, making it an amazing upgrade. I was tempted to rely on this guy completely and only focus on mining, but I figured we might as well get our spike factory down now, and we can place him at the very back of the track so we won't have to use any of his spikes until the Bloons are completely past the wizard. This lined up with us selling the first gem, so I made this factory a 100, increasing the pierce of each pile from 5 to 10. This came into play on round 25, where 10 purple Bloons headed our way, a direct counter to our wizard, so this factory had to pop them all. By the looks of it, we might have been able to defend without the bigger stacks upgrade, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. And just a couple rounds later, we had the cash for the second excavation. This one cost 3 grand, but will give us $4,600 in 10 rounds. A worse percentage, but overall more profit, so not bad at all. This left us pretty thin on defense, but that wall of fire held true, and we slowly upgraded it, giving him extra pierce with intense magic and camo detection with monkey sense. But on round 35, we could afford Dragon's Breath. His tier 3 upgrade that gives him a flamethrower attack makes his walls of fire better and lets him throw 3 fireballs at a time instead of 1, drastically increasing his DPS. This made the next few rounds incredibly easy. Our miner finished the job on round 37, and the rest of the 30s gave us enough money to fund the next dig, which is the biggest one yet. On round 39, we paid 10 grand to get 15 back in the future. And quickly, we can see that these gems are snowballing. We just need to have each dig pay for the next one until we have enough money for super mines, but also not spend too much that we can't defend anymore. I was really only worried about purples for now, so I upgraded this factory to a 320 spiked balls to double its damage, which crushed the purples on rounds 45 and 48. But more importantly, it was cheap enough to still let us afford the next mine the round our current one finished. And the numbers are starting to get big. $25,000 to get 37k back. A cheeky $12,000 profit. But that does put us back down to $0, and we're defending with just 2 tier 3 monkeys. And somehow, it was more than enough. For the entire 50s, not a single Bloon made it to our factory. The Dragon's Breath was a one-man army, taking on the Bloons all by himself. But I knew we needed upgrades soon because the 60s are heading our way. Before that though, we got our investment back. $37,000 hit our bank account, and we could afford the Wizard Lord Phoenix on round 59, which is absurd and would easily carry us to the 90s. But we had more important things on our mind. We still needed more cash, so we got to work on the second largest gem deposit, 50 grand to earn us 72k in 10 rounds. Holy cow, is that number getting huge. I started the dig on round 59, but that left us $19 short of the spiked mines upgrade, and the BFB is barreling down the track. The wizard broke his outer layer after 1 lap, opened the Moabs after another, and popped most of the ceramics before they got to this factory. And these pops let us afford the spiked mines upgrade. Not necessarily needed for this round or 61, but boy do we need it for 62. Here, 250 purples come our way, layered on top of rainbows and Moabs. Normally they aren't too scary, but that's a lot of purples, and they'll constantly be eating all of the wizard's pierce, especially the walls of fire that'll get put out instantly. The wizard still helped, but our spines basically had to do this alone. The purples constantly whittled down his mines, and whenever a Moab got to the end, only a couple would remain. Thank goodness they didn't all spawn at once, as he could barely keep up as is. Luckily, our Dragon's Breath is much better versus round 63. The ceramics and leads don't stand a chance with how many times they have to pass over his wall of fire and through his flamethrower. Now, the last gem deposit costs 100 grand and returns $160,000, but it takes 20 rounds to excavate, meaning we wouldn't get that money back until at least round 90, and because of that, we're not going to take on the project, as much as I'd like to. So, on round 64, we upgraded the wizard to a summon phoenix. On top of getting an ability that deals tons of damage, the wizard also gets a second stream of flames with his flamethrower, and with this, the save up began. We have to get supermines up and running by the late 80s, so we don't have time to get a wizard lord phoenix first. It's up to these two tier 4s to carry us into the late game. Round 86 got a bit spicy, with several fortified mobs making it to the end, but this is when we could finally afford super mines. And thank goodness we could here, because there's no way we were popping all 4 ZOMGs without it. But the best part of this upgrade is that the blimps can't reach these mines until they're exiting, but they are close enough to get hit by the explosions. You see, if a supermine expires, it generates a huge burning explosion. I'm talking 1000 damage to up to 60 balloons, and it applies a burn effect that deals 2500 damage every 2 seconds up to 3 times. So the balloons don't stand much of a chance. But on round 100, we had enough money to afford the Wizard's tier 5 upgrade and decided not to, getting the supermines its first two 2TCs, one with the Summon Phoenix and one with the Wizard Lord Phoenix.